Hello, friends. Carissa here. I'd like to share with you today some physical stretches and warm ups for singers and speakers. We place so much focus on warming up our voice, and we forget that our voice is connected to the rest of our body. Our entire body is woven together with this web of fascia. There is nowhere that fascia is not, it connects everything in the body together. So, our voice is connected to the muscles of the neck, the throat, the shoulders, the entire body through this interconnected web. So it's really important to keep everything fluid, keep our muscles balanced and moving in harmony if we want to protect our voices, prevent vocal strain, prevent ourselves from getting hoarse, prevent the voice from getting tired too quickly, and just help keep good vocal habits. So for my students, please do these stretches before you do your Dr. Simples or your other vocalizations. And for all singers and speakers, these are great to do before a gig or at least once a week. I like to do some form of this exercise routine every day because I am prone to muscle tension in certain muscle groups that really impact my voice. So I like to stay on it. But really, singers and speakers aside, anybody with a body is going to benefit from these exercises because we've all developed such bad postural habits from sitting too much in static positions, from working on computers with our head down, looking down at our cell phone, which we hold somewhere close to our lap. It's really, really hard on the muscles of the neck and the back. And doing these stretches will help to undo some of the damage we do from sitting. And if you'll notice, I'm moving a little bit here. I am seated on a stool that is dynamic, it moves. It allows my pelvis to tilt in a variety of different directions. It keeps my core active while I'm sitting, and it prevents a lot of the problems that we get from sitting for too long in a static position. I highly recommend that you get yourself one of these dynamic stools or an exercise ball to sit on if you spend a lot of time sitting, as most of us do. It will save your back and your lymph will move better, and you're just going to love it. At any rate, how does all this help your voice? Why do we need to do this? With everything being an interconnected web of fascia, the whole body is connected to your voice. Singing is a whole body experience. And if you have muscular tension in your neck, no matter how great your voice is, something can go wrong with your sound. You can end up with pain or other vocal defects. So it's really important to keep those muscles balanced, keep any tension patterns from settling in and becoming habit, because it's a lot easier to prevent it than to undo the habit once you have it. Take it from me. Now, in this video, I'm going to go over some of the anatomy, the muscles that really impact our vocal health and phonation, and just a couple of other pointers. If you want to just skip over the anatomy, if you've already heard that part, you can go right to this minute marker, and that'll take you straight to where the exercises actually start. Or you can also click on the link that you'll see popping up here that will take you to another video that's just a shortened version that has only the exercises if you don't need to know all of the anatomy parts. Another quick pointer before we get started: if you do have a tendency toward chronic tension in certain muscle groups, longer holds will be really beneficial for you. Holding a stretch for at least 10 seconds, preferably more like 20 or even 30, kind of like a yin yoga hold. It sends a message to and from the brain to muscle, that mind-body communication starts to happen, that, hey, there's a tension pattern here. Let's unwind that. If you don't give yourself enough time, you can go through the motions of a stretch and none of the muscle tension will resolve because your body hasn't been given adequate space and signal that, hey, it's time to let go of this tension. So give yourself enough time for the fascia, that spring-like structure, to unwind, for the muscles to go, oh, okay, it's safe for me to relax out of this habit that I have of being tense. Give yourself that extra time if you're finding that just going through this routine isn't resolving the patterns of tension that you may have. Okay, so now we'll dive a little bit into the anatomy. For the sake of focusing on singing, we're just going to focus on a few key muscles. And in the description of this video, you'll see links that will send you to a visual of the anatomy that just really shows all the muscles and connective tissue and bones in detail so that you can see what I'm talking about. First muscle we'll talk about is the platysma. Platysma is a very broad and narrow kind of sheet-like muscle that is all over the front of your neck. Now, the origin of this muscle is really broad and it's rooted in the fascia and tissue of your upper thorax. So you're thinking about your second rib, your pectoralis major, your deltoid. So it's originating here and it wraps up over your clavicle and it goes up the front of your neck, just like a sheet of muscle, and it inserts at various different points along your mandible, in the skin of your lower lip, and even the subcutaneous tissue in the lower part of your face. Subcutaneous means under your skin. Small fibers of it have even been found up close to the orbital bone. So the platysma, if it's tight from you having your head down all the time or slouching, it can pull your whole face down. So just from that standpoint, nobody wants their face to be pulled down. So keeping the platysma healthy, that's enough motivation right there. But from a vocal standpoint, any muscle tension can lead to trouble with singing. So that is platysma. The other big muscle that can really impact your singing and the sense of freedom that you get with your phonation is this really rope-like muscle called the sternocleidomastoid. Now, this is a two-headed muscle, so the origin is 2 points. There's the inner third of your clavicle here where it connects with your sternum. The sternocleidomastoid originates there, but there's also a part right here where it attaches just above your sternum. So it has two heads and it goes all the way up, and you might be able to see this kind of rope here, and it attaches to the skull. It attaches on the mastoid process, which is this kind of bump behind and below your ear, and also to your occipital bone, which you can think of as the base of your skull, like the back of your head bone. It attaches there, inserts there. And this muscle, because of all that it does for our head, it can really get tense. You may be able to see that in my sternocleidomastoid and my trapezius over here, my shoulder tends to rest just a little higher on the right side because of some things I have going on with my cervical vertebrae. Another story. But that muscle, that's one that I really have to work to keep from getting tense and bunched up, because that sternocleidomastoid just goes, and then it's not a good thing for my voice. So that's another big one we're going to talk about. And then I just mentioned trapezius. This is the one that we sometimes talk about as being our shoulders. Like when someone massages your shoulder, they're actually massaging your trapezius, which tends to hold all the tension from being a modern human seems to land in the trapezius. It has multiple trigger points that will just really hurt. It's a big muscle. It's not just right here. It goes all down your back, all the way down to your mid back, has lots of different insertion and origin points. So it's a big muscle. It's intimately involved with moving your shoulder blades all around and up and down. And it can really contribute to tension around where the sternocleidomastoid inserts into the mastoid process, because both of those muscles run into that area, and there's this big juncture of all this really dense tissue that tends to get tense and tight because of modern life. And so you end up with a headache in the back of your head or in your temple, or your neck is tight, and it's just not a good thing. So trapezius is another one we'll talk about. Next are the intercostals. The intercostals are the thin but really, really strong muscle in between your ribs, and they kind of hold your ribs in that web of muscle. And they activate when we inhale and our ribs expand to let the breath in when we're singing or speaking. And then, of course, they contract as part of the process of the diaphragm moving back up. It's kind of this beautiful concert of muscle movement, the intercostals, diaphragm, and all of the muscles of phonation working together just so you can take a breath. It's really cool to watch. So we're going to talk about them too. And then the pharyngeal muscles they're kind of hard to get at. You can't palpate them with your hands because they're inside your neck, your throat, but they're really important, obviously, in the singing process, in breathing. And the only way we can really work with them today in this video is by using our tongue. So we'll have an exercise for that to help you release any tension that may be in that set of pharyngeal muscles. So all that being said, I think we're ready to start the actual exercises. And what we want to do first is get yourself into a comfortable seated position where you can have your spine straight. your neck free, preferably on an exercise ball or a dynamic stool so your spine can remain fluid and your core can stay activated. But if not, it's okay. What we're going to do first is we're going to open up the lymph pathways. The lymph fluid does not move unless we do. We have to move our muscles and move our body for the lymph to move. So it tends to get congested because we tend to sit still a lot of the time. So to relieve some of that congestion so that the lymph fluid has somewhere to go when we're doing these exercises, we're going to open our pathways first. We're going to use first a spot called the sore spot by Gary Craig, who founded EFT, which you may know I'm a big fan of. And this sore spot is where there's a confluence of lymph vessels and things just tend to get a little jammed up and congested there. So it's a good idea just to take your 4 fingers and just rub right there below your collarbone. And if it's a little sore, that's a clue that you may have a little bit of lymph congestion, and just to work with it until it starts to feel less sore. And then you do the other side. And if you don't have any soreness here, just do it for a second anyway, just to make sure you don't develop any congestion. Okay. Once you're done, another spot we can work with our lymph is just inside the collarbone, like the hollow. See, I have a fairly thin neckline, so you can see my collarbone really well. But if you can't see yours, you just press your finger into the hollow there. And we're just going to hold for a couple seconds and then release. Okay, so we push down gently with the fingers. Inhale. And exhale, release the pressure with the fingers. This is just gentle, we're not digging. Inhale again. And exhaling. This is pumping lymph, opening up the pathway for it to drain out of the face. So we're pushing in, inhale. Exhale, go ahead and remove your hands. Okay. Now we're going to start with our neck. We're going to look left and right, and I want you to make sure you're getting your full range of motion without pushing and causing pain anywhere in your neck or head. Okay, so we're going to inhale at the center and exhale. Back to the center, inhaling and exhale. 2, 3, 4. Back to center, inhale one more time. Be sure to keep your spine straight, don't collapse forward. And we're going to exhale, looking left. Inhale. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, and back to center. Okay, now that we've gone left to right, we're going to look up and down. Again, mind that you're not crunching your neck, trying to get more of a stretch. Just go through your natural range of motion to the point where you don't have any pain. Okay, we're going to look up, inhale. Looking down, exhaling. Looking up, inhale. Looking down, exhale. Inhale, looking up, see if you can feel any tension or contraction in your platysma. And exhale, back to center. That's good. Now we're going to tilt the head like this way. And don't think of it as putting your ear on your shoulder that causes contraction and crunching. Think of it as if you're going to turn your ear to the sky to catch a raindrop that might be falling. So we're lengthening the neck. We're lengthening away from the trapezius. We're letting the shoulder drop down. And we're keeping ourselves upright and straight, and we're just tilting the head. Okay, so we're going to inhale. And exhale, left, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, back to the center. And exhale, right, 2, 3, 4. Now inhale. Exhale, see if you can get a little longer this time. Inhaling. Nice full breaths. Exhale softly. And back to the center. And now that we've done that, we're going to slide the head forward and backward. Think of your head as being on a plane or a plate. So we're not tilting this way or nodding. The head is coming forward and the head is going back. Okay. So we're going to go forward, inhaling, back, exhaling. Forward, inhaling to your comfort, your range of motion, and back. I'll show you from the side. Forward and back. Nice and slow, controlled movements. One more time, forward. Exhaling back. Good. If you hear creaking or cracking, crepitus as it's called, it's okay. If it gets to the point where you feel like you need to see a chiropractor or get an adjustment, you can do that too, but a little bit is okay. Okay, now we're gonna slide the head from side to side. Again, we're not tilting. We're keeping the head level, again, on a plane, like it's on a plate, and just moving from side to side like this. It's a small motion. You don't need to make it dramatic. It's just to take the neck through its range of motion. Okay, so we're just going to breathe softly and regularly all the way through this exercise, just going back and forth a few times, just following me. It looks a little funny, but your neck will thank you. Okay, coming back to center. And if you need to move your head a little bit after these stretches just to get yourself lined up again, that's fine. Okay, and finally what we're going to do is some shoulder rolls. So we'll go backward. Try to do these slowly so that you can establish that mind-body connection. You're not just quickly racing through and doing this rote thing. It's about building awareness and building connection with your body through fascia and through consciousness. So take your time. Okay, and now we're going to come back forward the other way. Just thinking about all the muscles that are helping you do this movement. Send them some appreciation. Such a complex system you are, and you just work so perfectly. Okay, we have a few more to get through here, and then we're going to go into some isometrics. We're going to do a half moon roll now with the neck. It's really important that you not roll your head backward. Not a good thing, not necessary. So we're just going to do a half moon crescent shape in front. So we'll first drop the head. Then we're going to tilt left. And then to the right tilt. And just following me, breathing softly. You don't have to follow a particular breath pattern. Just make sure you're not holding. Go right one more time. And now this is our last time going left. Return to center. Checking in, breathing softly. What are you feeling? Any tension? Okay. And now we're going to use our tongue for a little bit. That's the only way to get to some of the pharyngeal muscles. And we're just going to do a long stretch. You're going to do a puppy dog stretch. It looks ridiculous. So if you laugh at me, that's fine. I'm glad you get some comedy in your day. But this is necessary. Okay, so you're going to open your mouth as far as you can and just stick your tongue out as far as you can without pain. Okay, inhaling. Aha, aha. And back. You're going to inhale again. And back. And if you're feeling tension under here, you could probably use a little bit of massage or opening that area, or do this exercise a little more often. We're going to do one more. Inhaling. Great. And now you know what my uvula looks like. You can tell a friend. Okay. So now we're going to do some isometrics. An isometric stretch is basically where you resist so that you're engaging the muscle that you're stretching rather than just trying to make it really long and kind of pulling at it or stretching in a passive way. So we're going to do these again very gently. This is not, pumping iron. I'm going to use the palm of your hand on your forehead, and you're just going to resist. You're pushing with the palm of your hand, and then you're pushing forward with your forehead. And we're just going to do that for a slow 6 count. Okay, so you've got your right palm on your forehead and press and resist. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release, switch hands. We want to keep muscle symmetry. And press. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and release. If you'd like, you can inhale now. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release and inhale. And press. 2, 3. Exhaling. 4, 5, 6. Okay, just let that settle in, let that integrate. We're going to do the same thing with the side of the head. We're going to press the palm gently into the temple, and the head presses into the palm. So we go like this. On an inhale, and press. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release and inhale. Exhale and press. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and inhaling. And exhaling, press. 2, 3, 4, 5. My lymph is moving. 6. Inhaling. And the other side, last time. We're going to inhale and press. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release. Inhale. Let that settle. Now, what we're going to do, this is not necessarily isometric, but we're just using our jaw muscle to deepen a stretch that we did before. You're going to bring your jaw forward like a boxer or a bulldog and look up. And we're just going to count to 6 as we're there, exhaling. And if you'd like, you can massage with your fingers all of those origin points we talked about of these muscles here around the collarbone and the sternum. If it feels tight, go ahead and just massage, and to help that to release while we're doing this. Stretch is pretty intense, so don't push. If it hurts, back off a little bit to the point where it's just comfortable and go from there. Okay, so place your hands. We're going to inhale, bringing your jaw forward, and exhale. And inhale, coming down, resting. Exhale, jaw forward. And inhaling, coming down. Last time. Now this time, we're going to press the tongue against the roof of your mouth for 6 reps. You'll feel all these muscles in here working that you didn't even know you had. So this time you just keep your jaw in place, and we'll look up, inhaling. Exhale, press the tongue against the roof of the mouth. And inhale, coming down. Do you see it working? Okay, we're going to inhale up. Exhale, press the tongue. Inhale, relax, coming down. Exhale. Okay. Now we're going to integrate the body in with some of this work, because this is not a separate system compartmentalized from the rest of the body. It's one system. So we're going to open up the chest and the intercostals a little bit now, because they're a critical part of singing. So we're going to take your fingers and interlace them behind your back and open the chest. We're also going to let the head go back. And we're arching the back so that we're doing a bit of a seated cat-cow, because then we're going to bring it forward, bring the hands forward, arching the back the other way, even tilting your pelvis in, putting the head down. And then we'll come back to neutral and we'll do it all over again. So go ahead, interlace your hands behind your back, open your chest, arch back, inhaling, head back. Exhaling, bringing it all forward, rounding your back, even curving your pelvis in. One more time, inhaling, interlace the fingers, open your chest. Exhaling, curling the body. And inhale, bringing it back to center. Let that settle, see how you feel. Now we're going to stretch the intercostals, the muscles in between and around your ribs to open up the breath. So we're just going to take, it's really important not to collapse over while we're doing this. This is not the point to bend yourself in half as hard as you can. The point is to open up more space in the side body for your ribs to open and let more air in. So we're just going to take the hand, keeping yourself stable on this side, not collapsing into that side. And on an inhale, raising your arm up and over. And just opening up the side body, opening up your ribs as you inhale and exhale and feeling those intercostal muscles stretching and doing that work for you. We're going to come back to center, relaxing, exhaling, and on an inhale, you want to raise your other arm. Opening up those intercostals. My left side is significantly tighter than my right because I have some stuff going on with these, my lats and my intercostals on that side. Opening the body with each breath and then coming back. You can repeat that stretch if you choose or if you feel good. I also recommend doing up dog and down dog in succession. If you're not familiar with these yoga poses, there's literally a million videos on YouTube that'll show you upward dog and downward facing dog. It will ease tension in your hamstring because a tense hamstring will translate to a tense back, and the tense back means tense neck, means tense voice. There's no part of your body that's really separate from another. So if your hamstrings are tense or your back is tight, it's going to just translate to other areas through your fascia and through your muscle relationships. So now that you've done those stretches, you can just shake it out a little bit, stand up, ragdoll over. And if you are one of my students, this is what you're doing before your warm-ups or before you use your sing ring or your vocal straw. This would be a good time for you to grab that and to do your actual voice warm-ups and your practice. So I hope that was helpful for all of you speakers and singers and humans with muscle tension. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Thanks. Bye.